Guys, very, very urgent. We just got a buy alert on Astera for the first time in a long time. We had the sell signal from the SMC bot all the way back on the 8th of October, and we've been in this massive correction, testing the SMC moving average, and we're finally starting to break above it, and now we're getting that buy signal. So in this video, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. Have I taken profits on Astera? What my trades are? Have I bought more? All the latest news about Astera? What my strategy is right now. So let's get into it. So first of all, we've been talking about this moving average inside my Discord for some time. We had these yellow signals flash up. You see these yellows on the 4-hourly SMC, which kind of suggests you're getting a little bit overheated. We had a pullback here. We started to get sell signals, buy signals. We're basically chopping sideways. We had another yellow signal flash here saying that we're getting a little bit toppy, and then we got the final sell signal here. When you get these sell signals, what tends to happen is you tend to go into a downtrend and you try to retest this SMC moving average. You see this red line here after you get the sell. You see how it goes from green to red. This is your new resistance, and as you start to go into a correction, this is an area that I'm interested in taking shorts, right? You see here, we pushed down, we had this green bar, so you see the green, the bright green, that kind of suggests that you might be having a little bit of a pump here. Then we push back and we get rejected, right? So the green bars, this is if you're a day trader. Sometimes I do day trade. A lot of the time I swing trade. If you're a day trader, this is great, right? If you're a day trader and you're looking to take short-term positions, because what do? I take profits from my short here. I take short-term longs because I've just had the green, and then I take profits here and look for short positions, right? So technically, the sell signal I short, the green I long, I short because I'm at my resistance here, and I take profits when I see the green. So here's when our next green candle flashed up. I go into a long position. I'm at my red resistance line here. You see this red resistance line. I take a short position, and then we kept getting rejected from this red line. And then we had another green down here. So this is a signal to take profits and maybe look for a retest. Didn't quite get there, but we got close to the SMC moving average again. And then we had our final green down here. We bought in shortly after this, and now we're starting to get a buy signal. So we didn't get rejected. You see how we got rejected. The trend is your friend until the end, and now that trend is starting to come to an end, and we have a buy signal. And I am looking for a lot of upside here, right? Especially after having such a correction, which I'm going to talk about in the rest of the video. This is something we've talked about. I've been talking about with my VIP guys in the Discord. You see here, the price was around 146 to 150. I think I said 153. The SMC moving average, we should get a rejection and then go to the downside. You see here, we had our green buy. We pushed up to the SMC moving average, rejected, and then double rejection. And then we ended up getting rejected from that around 150. It was this move here. You see where we came up here, and then we literally followed that arrow straight to the downside. So it could be really good for day trading. Sometimes I don't day trade, all the time. But if we get these nice setups with clear sell signals and we're clearly getting rejected, it can be nice to look at these for opportunities. So what am I doing now? So we've just had the buy signal. For me, there's no stress right now. I mean, the trend is your friend until the end. We've got a nice 4-hourly close above here. We had a nice green candle down here. We've definitely broken above this now, and I am looking for more upside. What did I do? So I did take some profits from Astera around $2. So not only did we have the sell signal, so we had the sell signal flash up here around $2, right? We also had this yellow bright candle flash up to say that we were maybe getting a little bit toppy, and then we had the sell confirmation. So I did take some profits, guys, around $2, but it wasn't just the SMC bot. You can see my Discord post here, TP 25% from my Astera trades. I was in massive profits, right? I think I started to long around, or I bought spot around 45 cents or something, and I started to long around 62 cents on leverage. So I was in massive profits, and I wanted to put myself in a position where I couldn't lose, right? So I took some profits off the table. It's all now free money. Whatever happens to Astera, I can't lose. It's a free bet. I still have a lot of money in this, right? I have a very large amount of money, but it's all free now. And if this tanks, if it gets liquidated, I haven't lost anything. And if it keeps mooning, over the next 2, 3, 4 years, which I'm hoping it does, then it could be life-changing money for me, right? So it's a free lottery ticket now. I'm not in a position where I can lose. I would have kept holding this, but again, we had the sell signal from the SMC bot, and we had these other wallets start to sell that I was tracking. So we were tracking a wallet that was buying he brought over $100 million of Astera, which gave me huge confidence in my long positions. That's why I was like, guys, I don't see, I'm not taking any profits here. This whale is now sitting on a $123 million balance. They haven't sold anything, and I'm going to keep watching their wallet to see what they do. And then they started to sell, okay? So I said here, the Astera whale, who was holding $120 million, has started to sell $10 million and then moved another $2 million 2 hours ago. So we were very fresh to this. I was tracking his wallet. I could see him moving his Astera to Binance and to exchanges. And what happens in that situation, if a whale has $120 million, guys, some people like me are tracking those wallets, and they start to sell. They start to take profits. And also, if you go and sell $120 million on the open market, it's going to bring the price down, right? So, likely the price is going to go down. People are going to sell. People are going to open short positions. Another smart money trader, so another trader that I do really rate, very good trader, had also started taking profits, and they had around $8 million. They were up massively, and they also started to sell. And again, other people will be watching those transactions. Other people will be seeing the price go down, seeing the sell signal from the SMC bot. The price has rallied up a lot. We started to have a correction. I will admit, I did expect us to go higher than $2 on this first wave, because we were so far away from Hyperliquid. We were still massively undervalued from Hyperliquid. We were doing a lot of volume. We were doing a lot of revenue. But on-chain massive whale accounts started to sell. It can be hard to fight them, guys, especially when they're holding $100 million, $50 million. It can become a bit of a chain reaction as the flippers, so the people who got in early and just had a target of making a 3 or 4x, get out. They get out, which is a bullish sign now, okay? You don't really want a whale sitting there with $120 million in Astera, because if it does a 10x from here, they're sitting on $1 billion, right? They're not going to hold that, for 5 years. It's gonna be more sell pressure. So it is kind of a bullish catalyst. If you're bullish on Astera long term, you do want to see these people take profits. You do want to see them flush. You do want to see them get out. This wallet, who had $8 million, if it done a 10x from here, would have been $80 million, right? They've pretty much sold most of their bag. I've gone into their wallet. They still have a moon bag. It's a few $100,000, which is good. You don't want to see them sell everything, because that means they've completely given up. But yeah, you do want to have some shaving. Otherwise, it can be very hard for a project to grow if everyone just holds and holds. There's no way BNB would have done a 10,000x if everyone just held and held and held, right? Because, everyone who had $100 in BNB, if they'd have held, it would have been $1 million, right? They literally $100 to $1 million in a couple of cycles. And you can't have everyone making $1 million from $100, because it wouldn't have done a 10,000x, right? There would have been too much sell pressure. So you do need people to dump. You do need people to sell for these projects to grow. Like CZ said, it's building the foundations. So we did see profit taking. I did expect it to go higher, and I didn't expect us to crash by so much so soon. But again, it's happened, and part of this on-chain activity is the reason it happened. So I'll shave some more profits here, as I have a lot of exposure. I'm up around 7x, so I'm up 700%. I think it was like in a couple of weeks, guys. And I went pretty heavy into Astera as well, so I'd made a lot. Let's see how it plays out. Maybe people are de-risking because of the airdrop. Maybe they'll buy more after the airdrop. I just move with the data, and the data says to de-risk, okay? So people will say, oh, you're bullish, you're bearish. I move with the data, guys, right? Of course, I'm not going to sit here and watch a wallet dump $100 million on me. Like, I'd have to be a complete idiot to sit here and not take profits. If these wallets hadn't have sold, or maybe they'd accumulated more, I would have still held, right? Because then the target might have been $3, $4, $5. So I just literally move with the data. And also we have the SMC bot that guides us as well, right? So for me to sit here and not take profits when the bot said, hey, sell, yellow candle. It's getting very toppy here. On chain, we can see the whales are selling, the smart money is selling. What am I going to do? Open up new longs? Of course not. I'm going to take some profits and de-risk. And it's been a horrible ride down. Can't lie. I didn't expect it to come down to 93 cents. But I do think we're starting to bounce here. We're at 1.19 already, guys. It's really trying to move up, and we've got this buy signal from the SMC. But again, anything can happen. But sometimes these kind of shavings are very, very bullish. We've got rid of a lot of the bag holders, the whales that were holding, and the token is now starting to be distributed amongst holders and long-term believers. So shaved off some profits. I did take some more profits. So this was my first sell. So I ended up taking a little bit more profits off the table. I opened up a short and I posted on my X. Guys, so if you're not following me, go and follow my X because you'll see some of my updates here as well. And I said it killed me to short Astera. James Wynn went long, left me no choice. James Wynn was going crazy on long positions on Astera. And, that scared me. Cooker started to dump as well. So smart money started to dump. And like I said, a few hundred M whales I was tracking started to sell. I post this a lot earlier in my Discord. So you can see in my Discord, it was around $2. Around here, it was like $1.30. It still came down from here. So, you still would have made some money if you took that. Congratulations. Good news, CZ got pardoned, okay? So this is huge because do you remember CZ's quote saying, it's been an amazing run, BNB, 10,000x, if you had $100, you're a millionaire, and, if you had $10,000, if you had $10,000 in BNB, you would have been a billionaire. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. $1,000 to a billionaire. And he said, on to the next 10,000x, okay? On to the next 10,000x. Now, everyone knows that BNB pretty much can't do a 10,000x because of the size of the market cap. Is he talking about Astera? Was that a little private thing about Astera? Now, he would have already known he was getting pardoned because these talks wouldn't have just happened in a day or a week. They would have been talking about this for some time. A lot of people close to Trump would have said to ZZ, I think we can probably make something happen here. Leave it with me. We'll go back and forth. We'll talk some discussions out. And he would have known that he was getting pardoned. I think that there's a plan here. Notice how Astera came out of nowhere and CZ started to say, looking good. I really like this project, etc. Now I'm an advisor. I think he's been planning this. I think he's been planning this for a while. And he loves decentralization. He doesn't like that the US government got their hands on Binance. They're all over Binance US. They've got their hands in there. And he loves decentralization. He loves Bitcoin. He loves taking control of our own money, skipping out the middleman. He loves privacy as well, which we'll talk about because obviously he's adding the dark pools into Astera. Or I should say the Astera team are adding the dark pools in there, which even people in the White House love dark pools. So I think he's potentially going to get more involved with Astera. Now, I don't want to say that he's going to be the CEO or he's going to buy in as the co-founder. I don't know. But I do think he's going to get very involved with Astera because when he was arrested, he had to sign a commitment that he wouldn't be the CEO or the manager or director of another crypto exchange. And that prevented him from getting involved with Astera in a managerial role. He now can do that, right? He now can do that. Does he want to go back to Binance when the US government have their hands on it? Okay, when the regulation is tenfold what it was, or is he going to start to be involved in this Astera project? Where it's new, it's fresh. It's taken on Hyperliquid. It could potentially rival Binance. It could potentially rival BNB, right? The token could rival BNB. Where has he just made a colossal amount of money from BNB? Where could he make another colossal amount of money from Astera, right? If it goes and does a 10, 50, 100,000x. It seems to me like there's more of a reward going into Astera than just going back into Binance. Binance would be complications, the regulators, maybe you send an email here and there and the regulators come back after you. It seems like there's a lot of interest, and he's talked about the dark pool thing multiple times, and I think we're going to see him involved in Astera. Maybe it's not going to be public. I think we at least see him add it to his bio, which it hasn't been added yet, but I think we're going to see it added to his bio. And I would like to see him get fully involved. Maybe it's not this cycle. Maybe it's in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I think at some point or another, he is going to get very, very involved with Astera. And that's a play that we still have to come. Breaking news from Astera. Now, they announced they're going to start doing targeted buybacks. 70 to 80% of S3 fees for Astera buybacks. Exact allocation will depend on market conditions, and final results will be released following conclusion of S3. Okay, so they're going to start doing buybacks. Now, their first buyback was absolutely insane. It was $180 million. I still think they shouldn't have lump summed that. I think that was a terrible decision. I think they should have copied Hyperliquid and done a daily buyback, and I think the price would have held up much better. I posted saying a few suggestions here for the team. Hyperliquid currently allocates roughly 93 to 97% of their fees towards buybacks. Okay, so 70 to 80% is not terrible. I saw a few people say there's no way they're putting 80% in. So it's good to see that they've at least said 70 to 80%. But the competition are doing 93 to 97%. So I do want to see this number higher. I said that this is proven to be a major strength for their ecosystem for Hype. As far as I'm aware, they don't have $1 billion company backing them. So this shows that, this shows what's possible even with an independent team. So Hyperliquid's team is very small, but look what they've achieved and still doing 93 to 97% in buybacks, right? So Astera is backed by $1 billion company. They should at least be doing close to what Hyperliquid are doing, right? Because you have this backing. If you really believe in the project and the token, you want to get this as high as possible. I don't think people are going to complain too much about 70 to 80% because I think the buybacks are still going to be bigger than what Hyperliquid are doing, even at 70 to 80% because of the numbers they're doing, right? They're doing bigger numbers than Hyperliquid, so the buyback should be bigger. It would be great to see if Astera can commit to a regular buyback allocation, ideally 80% or higher. We don't want to see 60%. We don't want to see 70%. Beyond that, I'd love to see daily buybacks instead of monthly or quarterly lump sums. Hyperliquid's daily model has a few clear advantages as it provides transparency, market stability, and community confidence. Everyone can see activity consistently rather than in bursts, which prevents large irregular pumps or insider trading type behavior, and it shows a visible, steady commitment to buybacks that builds long-term trust. Of course, I understand that any startup needs flexibility to fund growth and new features, especially when aiming to outpace the competitors, right? They want to do stocks, gold, they want to have dark pools, they're building an L1. They've got a lot of costs right now, guys, and I understand that. So it'd be wrong for me to put a lot of pressure and say, guys, we want to see 90%, 95%. In the long run, once everything's been built out, once the revenue's starting to come in quite heavy, then, hey, maybe they can increase it, right? Of course, I understand a startup needs money. Hyperliquid's model shows that consistent, transparent buyback mechanism. We need that daily buyback mechanism. The problem with the way they've done the first buyback is $180 million is a lot of money, okay? A lot of money in one sudden burst. That's the worst dollar sign. It's the worst dollar sign I've drawn. $180 million was purchased all at once. So what this does is it creates a buyback, a pump in the charts, right? It creates a pump in the charts. And then what happens is it's grounds for bad behaviors, right? It's grounds for manipulation, because if you're in the team of Astera or you're an insider at Astera and you know that you're about to buy $180 million worth on the open market, you're going to go and put longs on Bybit, you're going to put longs on Mexia, you're going to put longs on Binance, you're going to go and make yourself a nice few $1 million, right, on high leverage, because you know that the market's about to pump by a lot, okay? So it creates bad behaviors, and then what happens is once that buyback is then announced on the socials, everyone will go and short it, right? Because if they've just put $180 million in, everyone now knows that this pump was Astera themselves and not organic, and it wasn't retail, and it wasn't Wales. And then they go and take profits. They suddenly sell, take profits, and then the insiders at Astera go and put on shorts at Mexi and Bybit and Binance, and they go and collect even more cash as it starts to correct. So it's you don't want to see it. I hope that's the last time they do a big buyback. There was a few people who mentioned saying we want to see daily, and I am actually tracking the wallets of the buyback in the Discord. So I've got it set up in real time with my VIP group, so we'll all see it. If they start that buyback wallet, if that starts to buy back the Astera token, we're going to see it in real time. So we'll be able to see if they are lump sum buying or doing daily buys. That should help us take strategic long positions as well. So as soon as I start to see that, I'm already in long positions, but as soon as I start to see that wallet buying Astera back in real time, then I can start to take very big long positions on high leverage when that happens and if that happens, right? So what we want to see is them copy the Hyperliquid model where they start to buy every day, right? They just do small amounts every day, and some people sell, some people take profits, but it's all transparent and it's all on chain. So we can see, today, Monday, they purchased around 2 million, and it should be around somewhere between 2 to 4 million in daily buybacks, which is crazy, guys. This gives huge confidence in the asset, especially with like TradFi investors and smart money and big money, because if you can see on chain that Astera is buying back their own token in the $2 to $4 million range, people just stop selling, right? People just stop selling, because if they're going to spend $2 to $4 million a day every single day on the token, technically, I say that in inverted brackets, there's no top, guys, right? Because even if some people, I've made a 2x, I've made a 3x, decide to sell, the protocol just keeps buying back the token. This is what made Hyperliquid so great. Every day, 2 million, 4 million, some more people sold. Okay, well, you can't fight the buy pressure, because they just keep buying back the token. They just keep buying back the token. It's an infinite Ponzi scheme that should go up forever, as long as people don't stop using the platform. Now, they have 5 million users right now. What happens when they double the users? What happens when they start to onboard TradFi, when you can leverage trade gold, Tesla, silver, DXY, the NASDAQ? What happens when they start to build TradFi? Are we going to see double the users, double the revenue? So are we going to see $4 to $8 million buys every single day in buybacks? What happens if they go from 80% buybacks to 90% buybacks? What if they try to compete with Hyperliquid? In 3 or 4 years, are we going to be seeing $5, $6, $7, $8 million buys every day? Because we're talking about billions of dollars a year here. And if the market cap is only $2 billion, it's only a matter of time before they buy back most of the supply, and it just keeps being bought up and bought up and bought, and people take profits because they hit 5x. And it doesn't matter if you hit 5x, because we're just going to keep buying back the project every day, and someone else hit 10x and they decide enough is enough, and then they just keep buying back the token. It's an amazing Ponzi scheme, which is why I don't want to play games with this investment. I really don't want to play games, because I don't want to sit here in 4 years' time in the next bull run just saying to myself, I really understood this model and I flopped and I sold my moon bag, right? I really saw this doing at least the 50 to 100x, and I had really, strong conviction. CZ got pardoned. They've been added to the Apple Store, and I don't want to have flopped it. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go up only, right? I don't think it's just going to do this. I think it's going to be choppy. BNB was not up only, right? If you had $100 in BNB, at one point that went to $1,000, and then and if you didn't take profits at one point, it probably went back to $100. So you would have been kicking yourself. It was $1,000. Now it's back to 100, and then it went to $10,000, right? And then at one point, that BNB investment, you didn't take profits, it went back down to $2,000. So now you're down $8,000, and then it went to $25,000, right? This went all the way to $1 million, guys, right? From $100, if you bought BNB at the start, it went to 1 million. But was it easy? No. That $100 went to 1,000, back to 100, then to 10K, then to 2K, right? And then to 50K, and then to 10K, then to 500K, then to 200K. It wasn't easy, right? But those who bought and had conviction here and held never had to work again, right? Those who put $1,000 in, $10,000 in, ended up being billionaires. And I have over $10,000 in Astera. And do you know what? I'm probably not going to ever have less than $10,000 in Astera because of the model, because of the buyback model, the buyback mechanism. Hyperliquid, in my opinion, would have continued to go up forever if they had have continued their model, right? I just didn't have the chance to get in early. It's like a $50-60 billion FDV, and I have got into Astera early. So yeah, I'm not going to take this for granted. I'm not going to get manipulated by the daily candles, the weekly candles, the social media FUD. I'm going to hold this into the next cycle. I'm going to take profits here and there. It's free money now. Like, I've already slashed some profits off, right? I can't lose. So I've got all this money in Astera. It's free money. I can't lose. I might as well stick to my conviction, right? I have high conviction that this is going to play out, but I'm prepared to lose it all at any point whatsoever, right? It could get liquidated, they could get hacked, it could get scammed, anything can happen. That's the game we're playing in, right? No risk, no reward, guys. What else am I doing with my trade? So I did buy some more Astera. I added to my position, guys. So I closed my short positions. You can see here I short Zcash, BNB, World Libby Finance. I was short Sui Hype, so I closed my short positions. I've closed them all. I did, so I put here CZ was pardoned, added 0.2% to my Astera long. The price was 1.07, so I added some more to my long. TP'd 100% my BNB short as well. And I added to my Astera long, and the price is now 121. So we're doing good. 107, I added around here, somewhere down here, and we are up quite a lot on that already because we're at 121 now. And I'm in the same long that I got in, so I think I got in around 0.62. I just added to my position. I'm in a couple of longs on Astera, actually. I did open up another DGen long at 107. So that's what I'm doing now. I've closed all of my short positions. I'm in no shorts, right? I'm in a couple of longs. I did post them in my Discord, the other long positions that I've taken. So if you want to see those and you want to get involved with us, head over to my X to jump into that so you can see my trades. This one at the bottom, not the top one, search the one at the bottom, click this link, and then that will take you to get signed up in our Discord. I also do these market updates, guys, so you can pause the video here if you want to read this. I do these market updates about the macro, what I'm doing, which kind of guides me with taking profits, like strategy. We tried to get into understanding of what's going on in the market. There's a lot of things changing right now. If you've seen the earnings, they're so good. Like, the earnings are record highs. Rate cuts are now confirmed. So a lot of things are changing. We might be going into QE over the next few months. So, you have to move with the data. You have to move with the market. I see some traders like Win. He's either like max bullish or max bearish, and he just goes straight into liquidation. I just move with the data. I might be short one day, I might be long the next day. If the data changes, I'd change. We just got confirmed basically that we're having 2 rate cuts now in December. Trump came out, said, talked about a China deal looking like it's going to be a nothing burger, right? They're going to sort the deal out. So it's chopping and changing. So yeah, I'm not bullish, I'm not bearish, I'm just moving with the data. And right now, the data suggests that we might see a catch-up trade. And we've had this nice pullback and sell-off, right? It's quite normal. This is interesting. I posted this saying, do you see the same thing happened with Hyperliquid that's happened with Astera? Look at the Hyperliquid launch. So you see how it, initial burst, little bit of pullback, sideways into a correction. And this correction was around 60% from the all-time high, which is what you want to see. You don't want to start to see. That's why I don't like AVNT. I need to do a video on AVNT because very suspicious selling from some of those vesting wallets. But AVNT came down like 90%. There's no recovery from that. It's just going to pump and dump. Whereas 60%, the golden zone, right? 50 to 60%, the golden zone, perfect for recovery. You only really just need over a 2x to get back to all-time high. Whereas AVNT now needs to do like a 9 or 10x to get back to all-time high, which is, they've wrecked the charts. A-star, very similar. Initial pump, a little bit of a pullback, sideways, correction. It's almost an exact copy of the Hyperliquid launch. And now we're starting to get a correction. This was at 109. And now are we here? So you see this reversal point here. I think we might be here on A-star. I'm hoping we are here on A-star at the very start of this correction. So down here, this was 109 area. And are we starting to break out and copy Hyperliquid? Going to be interesting. A-star's back to number one. I think it's always been at number one, but the perp volume over the last 24 hours, 8.23 billion. Compared to the Hyperliquid, 3.05 billion. Okay, so over double still on the volume. Even after a lot of the airdrop hype has faded off, we still have one airdrop going. It's not quite as big as the first two. But yeah, 8.23 billion, still outperforming on revenue, still outperforming on volume. And the users is good. It's going to be interesting to see if that drops after the final airdrop. So then we'll get a more realistic representation of the trading volume. So let's see what happens after the airdrop, after the final airdrop, and then we might see a lot of interest. If we still see a lot of revenue and we still see a lot of interest after that, we could see a lot of whales flood in. We also want to see these daily buybacks. I think that's going to be a big catalyst. I think when people see those daily buybacks, they're going to be quite interested. And there's going to be a lot more faith in the protocol. Where would we be? Now, look, we're outperforming Hype massively. Now, I think we should at least get to Hype's market cap, right? If we get to Hype's market cap, the price of A-star would be $6.28. And the price today is $1.20. Okay, so we're looking many X's away, 5.33x away from Hyperliquid. I think it's going to be bigger than Hype. I think it's going to be much bigger than Hype because it has billion-dollar back-end, because it has CZ. It's already listed on many more exchanges than Hyperliquid is. It's on Binance. It's on. I think it got listed on Kraken. It's on most of the top exchanges. Yeah, look, it's already listed on Kraken. I think it got listed on Robinhood as well, which is insane. And I think there's going to be a partnership with Robinhood. Now, if you know, Robinhood are really interested in giving access to Web3, and it would be the perfect partnership, Robinhood and Astera, because Robinhood recently talked about they want to have private sales. They want to tokenize companies so that they can offer opportunities to retail that have not previously been there. Like maybe you want to buy OpenAI. Well, why is it only available to the rich? Why is it only available to the wealthy? Why do they get these opportunities? Because they're accredited investors. Why can't retail buy that? And Robinhood are actually doing that. And I can see that fitting in with Astera's brand, image, goals. And that would be a perfect collaboration because Robinhood could actually outsource some of that tokenization to Astera, and then Astera could market, hey, buy OpenAI exclusively on our platform. Huge. That would be huge for Web3 because you're not an accredited investor. You can't go and buy OpenAI, but you can from Astera. Like imagine the amount of users. If I was in charge of marketing for Astera, and I used to work in Web3 marketing at crypto exchanges. So, if I was in charge, that would be one of my main goals. How do we get as many new users as possible? Well, simple. You just offer something that the other exchanges can't. You offer something that the other exchanges don't. And this would be a beautiful setup. And I think Robinhood might feed lots of private sales to Astera, and then they just pay a commission back to Robinhood on those assets, because Robinhood are planning to tokenize lots of stocks and lots of private sale opportunities, and we might see a huge amount of companies actually come into Robinhood almost as like a startup or a fundraising kind of platform as, hey, we're this company, we do this, we tokenize our stock, and then they outsource it to Astera. Yeah, huge potential there, and I think we're going to see a partnership which could then drive a lot of TradFi into Astera. You got to think, right, there's huge interest in trading decentralized stocks. Where better to get that audience than Robinhood? Like, Robinhood is your best target audience for getting users onto Astera to trade decentralized stocks. And then they discover dark pools. Then they discover that Astera buys back its token every day. Buys back 2-3 million, which TradFi is really going to understand. There's so many green tick boxes here for this, guys. It's insane, the potential. And I think short term, I just don't see how it doesn't reach 100 billion. Not financial advice. Do your own research. Investing in crypto is highly risky. You can lose all your money investing in anything, but this is my plan, 100 billion target, before I really start to take some profits off the table. Really cool. Huge volume. Still so far away from Hyperliquid. That's pretty much it, guys. What do you think about Astera? Where are we now? Pushing 120s. Let's go. What do you think about Astera? Do you think this buy signal is about to play out? Do you think we're going to reach an all-time high again in the next 30 days, 60 days? Where do you think we're going? Have you sold? Are you taking profits? Are you going to hold a moon bag into the next cycle? Are you going to sell your entire bag? The thing that worries me is I don't know if we ever see these prices again in a bear market. So the market cap right now is 2.4 billion. The reason I say that is because at any point, this could be the last bottom, right? The reason I say that is because look what happened last cycle with BNB. Down here, the market cap of the market cap of BNB was roughly where we are now, right? 4 billion, a little bit higher than where we are now, 4 billion market cap. And in the bull run, it went to 103 billion market cap. Okay, so it went parabolic, and these things can happen very fast. You could argue there's a lot less altcoins last cycle, and that's a very good argument, and I would agree. We also have like pump fun and millions of tokens, thousands of people shilling all different tokens. Whereas last cycle we did have a funnel, so it was a lot easier for things to have these parabolic runs. But it did happen, right? So it's not out of the question that it could potentially happen again. It went to 100 billion, and then in the bear market, the floor was 33 billion. Okay, in the bear market, the lowest floor was 33 billion. So everyone who sold down here at 4 billion saying, or 5 billion, or everyone who sold, 6 billion or whatever, they were like, oh, I'm going to wait for the bear market. It didn't even come down to the prices that they sold at down here, because we've seen the whale, we've seen the smart money already selling their Astera, right? So they've been selling at 3 billion, 4 billion market cap. And it's quite possible that it's in the bear market, Astera market cap could be 10x away from where we are right now. The same for Hype as well. I don't know if Hype will ever come back to the bear. Its low down here, because its low was $10. Let's go market cap. Its low was 3 billion, 4 billion market cap low, and now the market cap's 15 billion. So, you could argue that maybe it doesn't drop that low even in a bear market. Okay. So if we are here on Astera right now and we're about to break out, there is a chance that we never revisit this level. Is it likely? Who knows, right? I'm just saying that there's a chance that happens. That it never happens. And it looks like Hyperliquid is trying to break out again. So Hyperliquid has been tested by AVNT, not really tested by AVNT, but tested by Astera. It's had its panic sell-off, and now it's starting to recover. So it looks like Hyperliquid has survived this crash. This is kind of good, because the bigger the Hyperliquid market cap gets, the bigger the Astera market cap can get. It would be nice. It would have been nice to see it continue sell-off and a transfer of money, but it seems to have held up well here. I'm glad I closed my shorts. I think we started shorting around 58. And the way it's moving, who knows? It might even try and push another all-time high. I was kind of interested in holding these shorts open long term, but with this kind of bounce, I think we have a buy signal from the SMC bot on Hyperliquid as well. With this kind of bounce, probably wouldn't have been too keen on holding shorts. If we can get a final send in this market, so if we can get a final blow off top rally, because October's been terrible, we've just got confirmation that we've got rate cuts coming. Maybe we do have a green November. We're due a green November, right? We are due a green November because look at the state of the market. I mean, look, even the M2 money supply. This is either suppression or we've topped, right? So there's a chance that this is some sort of suppression and we are about to break out and start to go parabolic. Maybe they're loading up. We saw this happen before, right? Back in August, when we went long down here, we saw we were just chopping sideways, but we were still following the M2. This is very odd. This is very, very strange. And, you know, either we're going to collapse here or we're going to send. I don't think we're going to go sideways for much longer. There is a chance, right? And if we do start to see this rally, then, yeah, I'm going to start looking for short positions on altcoins again. We were shorting kind of in a dangerous range, which is why I sort of said, if we look at Sui, I said, Sui, the trend is your friend. And I said, look, we're getting rejected from the SMC. We have the sell signal. Rejected from the SMC, rejected from the SMC, rejected from the SMC, but we just closed above and had a buy signal on the SMC bot. So I don't really want to be shorting here, okay? Don't really want to be shorting with when the SMC bot is saying, hey, look, you might be at the start of a trend reversal here. We can see BTC is at 113K. I'm long BTC, by the way. I'm also long Solana. That's pumping now, nice. That's really pumping. I'm long BTC, long Solana, long Astera. We're starting to break out. We're starting to break out. We got the 2 rate cuts coming. We're massively lagging. We're massively lagging the stock market, guys. We're massively lagging the stock market. Look at the Nasdaq. We've just been going sideways on Bitcoin since May. And then this is June, this is May, right? It's been up only. We're so far behind the NASDAQ. It's crazy. We're behind the M2. We're behind gold. Like, we're massively behind gold. The M2, the NASDAQ. Look at this, fucking insane. Still no sell signal. Last signal was strong buy. Strong buy on gold at 1.92 from the SMC bot. And 1.9 all the way to 4.3. That's crazy. No sell signal all the way up. Yeah, we're lagging. There could be a catch-up trade here. There could be a catch-up trade. There could also be a scam wick. Look what they've just done to the market, guys. They just literally, everyone was bullish and they just flushed everybody out. They literally scam wicked altcoins. People lost their entire net worths. People took their lives. Like, that's how disgusting it was. It's sad, man, that people took their lives. People were trading on cross margin. Like, their accounts got literally sucked dry because they were trading on cross, not isolated. I lost about 2% because I trade on isolated. So I lost about 2%. I was short in Bitcoin. And I took profits and went long at support here, which is disgusting because we're almost back at support now. I took a long at support, and then Trump tweeted that tariff thing, which no one could have predicted. Trump tweeted about tariffs, and then they rugged everyone. I'll do another video on BTC because we're bouncing off the SMC weekly. Look at this. SMC weekly, bounce. SMC weekly, bounce. SMC weekly, bounce. This has been the bounce level all cycle. And we have to ask ourselves the question, are we finally bouncing off this level? That's it for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube video. Follow my Twitter if you want to stay up to date. There's a free Telegram as well, so my Telegram's not even paid for. So if you want to join the Telegram, click this link. That's going to show you all my channels. And if you do want to join the Discord, don't forget it's monthly, guys. It's not a yearly thing. It's not a lifetime thing. It's a monthly fee. So if you don't find value from the buy alerts, from the sell alerts, from the trades we're taking, if you don't find value, you just leave, right? If you don't like it after a month, you just leave. And I don't think it's expensive. I think the lowest tier is about $40 or $50 a month. So yeah, if you're not finding value, you can leave at any time. And yeah, we've got quite a few members. I think we've got 600 people using the SMC bot now. So hopefully we can get up to 1,000. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then, I will catch you guys in the next one.